The next morning arrived with a suffocating stillness. Elena woke to the sound of a door closing. Soft, deliberate, unmistakable. Clara was awake. Earlier than usual. Earlier than possible. For a moment, Elena lay frozen, listening to the slow, padded footsteps outside her room. Her heart beat a little too loudly in the quiet house. She already knew, without checking, that Clara was going out again. By the time Elena rushed to the window, Clara was already halfway down the street, walking with the same eerie purpose she carried everywhere now. Not hurried, not distracted, not pausing to breathe the morning air. Just moving, like an arrow shot toward a target only she could see. Elena didn't follow her this time because she already knew where Clara was going. She was going to see Adrian. In school, the air felt wrong. Heavy, pressurized. Elena walked the hallways with a tight chest, scanning for Clara before scanning for anyone else. She spotted her sister almost instantly. Clara stood by the main staircase, wearing a pale blue dress Elena hadn't seen in months. She'd ironed her hair, brushed it cleanly behind her ears, and stood perfectly still, clutching her journal against her chest like scripture. And she was staring at the entrance doors with a hunger Elena had never seen on a human face. "Elena," Maya whispered as she approached, "what's wrong with your sister? She's been standing there since I arrived. She hasn't moved." "She's waiting," Elena said quietly, "for someone she believed destiny owed her." Right on cue, the doors swung open. Adrian Hale walked in, half distracted, tying the string of his hoodie with one hand while scrolling through something on his phone. Clara's posture changed instantly. Her spine straightened, her grip on the journal loosened, her pupils widened, drinking him in like light, and she stepped forward. Not fast, not shy, just inevitable. Elena felt panic surge up her throat. She moved without thinking, intercepting Clara before she could reach him. Clara's stare snapped to Elena, sharp and furious. "What are you doing?" "I need to talk to you," Elena whispered urgently. "Not now." "Yes, now." Clara jerked her wrist free. "You don't get to control fate." But fate wasn't what Clara was chasing. She was chasing a person, one who didn't even know he was being hunted. Adrian finally looked up and noticed the standoff. "Hey, everything okay?" he asked, confused. Elena forced a smile. "Yeah, just sister stuff." Clara did not smile. She just stared at Adrian, unblinking, devouring every detail of him. He offered a polite nod and walked past. Clara's eyes followed him like Elena managed to pull Clara into an empty classroom. "What are you doing?" Elena hissed, trying to keep her voice steady. "You can't act like this." Clara's jaw twitched. "You ruined it. He was about to talk to me." "No, he wasn't. He was walking to class." Clara gave a hollow laugh. "You think I don't know his patterns? He always slows down when someone stands near the doors. He always looks up at exactly the 3rd second. He would have seen me. He would have smiled." "Elena, please," she whispered, desperation replacing her earlier fury. "Stop interfering. You don't understand what this means." Elena felt something inside her fracture. "Clara, this isn't meaning. This is obsession." Clara went still. Then she whispered, "Don't say that again." Elena tried a different approach. "You're not thinking clearly. You need sleep, a break, help." Claire's hand shot forward and slammed onto Elena's desk, rattling the pens. "I'm not sick." Elena's heartbeat stuttered. "I'm not broken," Clara continued. "I'm awake. And he's starting to notice me everywhere. The universe is aligning. Elena, her voice softened dangerously. Don't take this from me. Elena swallowed hard. I'm trying to protect you. Clara shook her head. You're trying to stop me. Before Elena could respond, Claire stormed out of the classroom. By the afternoon, Elena's worst fears materialized. A commotion rippled through the courtyard. Maya grabbed Elena's arm. Elena, your sister, come fast. Elena sprinted with her heart in her throat. When she reached the courtyard, a cluster of students had formed a circle. In the center were Clara and Adrian. Adrian stood with his backpack half unzipped, looking bewildered. Clara stood 3 feet away, breathing hard, clutching something in her hand. Elena pushed through the crowd. Clara! Adrian turned. Elena? Hey, your sister, I think she... Before he could finish, Clara spoke. Why didn't you read it? Adrian blinked. Read what? She held out a piece of folded paper, shaking. Elena felt cold wash through her. Oh, God. She'd written him a letter. I left it on your desk yesterday, Clara said, voice trembling. I saw you pick it up. You smiled. Then you put it in your folder. Adrian's eyes widened. Wait, that was yours? I thought it was from the assignment pile. I didn't open it. Clara's face broke, shattered like glass under pressure. You didn't read it? Adrian hesitated. No, I'm sorry. I wasn't sure what it was. You ignored it? The courtyard went silent. Adrian stepped back slightly, uneasy. I didn't ignore. I just didn't know. You rejected me. I didn't. You rejected me, Clara screamed. The paper trembled violently in her hand. Her breathing became uneven, shallow and fast, like someone drowning in open air. Adrian took another step back. Elena jumped between them. Clara, stop, please. Clara's eyes snapped to her. You did this, she whispered. You blocked the signs. You distracted him. You brought noise. Clara, that's not... You sabotaged destiny. Elena felt tears burn her eyes. Clara, you need help. Please. Clara stared at her for a long moment. Then, with devastating calm, she said, If you stand in my way again, Elena, I won't forgive you. The threat was so soft that only Elena heard it. But she heard it perfectly. That evening, the school called their mother. A concern, a disturbance, a strained interaction. Clara lied through the entire conversation. Elena said nothing because she didn't want her mother to cry. But later that night, Elena found something new on Clara's desk. A map. Not drawn, printed. Of Adrian's neighborhood. Highlighted. Circled. Annotated. Clara had taken obsession and given it legs. It had learned to move. It had learned where to move. And Elena realized with horror that she no longer had days to stop her sister. She had hours. Clara stood there in the dim hallway, hair dripping wet, pajamas still damp, eyes wide and strangely bright. Elena, she whispered, almost smiling, where did you put it? Elena froze. Put what? The map. Her voice wasn't angry. It wasn't sad. It was calm, like she already knew the answer. Elena swallowed. I didn't touch anything. Why would I? Clara tilted her head, bird-like, calculating. "That's strange," she murmured, "because it didn't disappear on its own." Elena felt cold. Clara stepped closer. Not threatening, not aggressive, just determined. "Elena," she said softly, "I need it back. Adrian's walk changes tomorrow. If I don't memorize it tonight, I'll miss him." Miss him. As if he was an appointment, a destiny, a scheduled event only she understood. Elena tried to stay steady. "Clara, you can't go near him." Clara blinked. Slowly. Like she couldn't understand the sentence. "Elena, you don't get to decide that." Her voice was flat, emotionless, cold. For a heartbeat, they stood there in the dark hallway. Two sisters, one terrified, one transformed. Then Clara's expression shifted. Just slightly, but enough. "I'm going to ask again. Where is the map?" Elena tightened her grip on her pajama sleeves. "Clara, I'm trying to protect you." A dangerous smile touched Clara's lips. "No," she said softly. "You're trying to delay me." Elena stepped back, pulse racing. "Clara!" "I'm done talking," Clara whispered. "If you won't help me, don't get in my way." And with that, Clara turned and walked to her room, closing the door with a quiet click. A soft, final warning. Elena's hands were shaking. Clara was unraveling. Fast. Quietly. Dangerously. And the worst part? Elena had no idea what Clara planned to do next. But something told her time had just... Elena woke before the sun. Not because of an alarm, not because of noise, but because of silence. A strange, wrong kind of silence. A silence that felt constructed, like the world was holding its breath. She sat up, heartbeat steady at first, then uneasy, then rising. Something felt off. Her door was slightly open, not how she left it. A whisper of cold air slid through the crack. Elena stepped out of bed and walked into the hallway. Clara's door, usually shut, usually locked, usually guarded, was wide open. The room was dark. Too dark. Elena's fingers trembled as she flipped the switch. Clara's bed was empty. Blankets thrown back, pillows missing, window half open. And on the desk, a replacement map. Drawn by hand. Not printed, not perfect, but frantic, obsessive, nearly carved into the paper. Clara had redrawn everything from memory. Every turn, every street, every place Adrian ever walked. And beneath it, scrawled in sharp black ink, "You can slow me, Elena, but you can't stop destiny." Elena's vision blurred for a second. Her throat tightened. She grabbed her phone. 2:11 a.m. Clara Elena ran upstairs, grabbed her hoodie, shoved her feet into sneakers with shaking hands. She didn't think. She didn't plan. She just acted. Clara was unstable. She might cross Adrian's path. She might panic him. She might scare him. Elena swallowed hard. She might do something she couldn't undo. Elena ran out the door, cold air biting her arms. The streets were empty, washed in dim orange light. She checked the map she'd taken from Clara earlier. Her stomach twisted. If Clara followed this pattern, if she stayed consistent, if her obsession truly ruled her, she knew exactly where she'd be headed. The bench near the park. Adrian always passed it after late-night study sessions. Elena sprinted, her breath fogging in the cold, her heartbeat pounding like a countdown. She wasn't fast enough. She knew it. But she had to try. She had to find Clara before she found him. Clara reached the bench at the edge of the park, her hands shaking with the thrill of proximity. She sat, tucked her legs to her chest, waited. Not for Adrian, but for a sign, a movement, a shadow, a piece of his world she could memorize. Her eyes gleamed with devotion. "I'm here! I'm finally where you breathe." The wind rustled the leaves behind her. She smiled. She didn't notice the figure approaching from the other side of the park. Not Adrian. Not Elena. Someone else. Someone who had seen her there before. Someone who had a very different reason to approach a girl alone at 2 a.m. Alone at 2 a.m., Clara didn't sense danger. Not because she felt safe, but because she only sensed Adrian. Her whole world had shrunk to a single heartbeat that wasn't even hers. So she didn't hear the footsteps approaching from the left, heavy, dragging slightly, too slow for a jogger, too deliberate for someone passing by. She just kept whispering pieces of a fantasy that existed only in her mind. "Adrian, you always walk here. You're close. I know you're close." Her fingers traced invisible patterns on the bench. She imagined his hand resting there. She imagined fate folding two lives together. She didn't imagine anything else. She didn't imagine anyone else. Not fast, not loud, just enough. The figure stopped a few feet away, watching her, studying her, breathing slightly too hard as if excitement pushed the air out of his chest. Clara didn't look up, didn't turn, didn't notice. She was reading the last lines of her notebook poem, whispering them like a prayer. "If destiny had eyes, they would be yours." A low voice cut through the night. "You shouldn't be out here alone." Clara froze. Her breath caught. That wasn't Adrian. It wasn't Elena. It wasn't anyone she knew. Slowly, like a puppet whose strings were being pulled, Clara lifted her head. A man, tall, heavy jacket, hands shoved in his pockets, eyes reflecting nothing. He smiled. A thin, unfriendly stretch of lips. "You come here often?" he said. "I've seen you before." Clara blinked once. Twice. Her mind didn't process danger the way most would. Her brain was already rewiring the moment, looking for meaning, for symbolism, for some cosmic thread that kept the two of them here at this exact moment. She whispered, "I'm waiting for someone." The man chuckled. Quiet. Unsettling. "I can wait with you." Clara's heartbeat stuttered. Something in his tone felt wrong. Not like a threat, not like comfort. something in between, the kind that made her instincts twitch, even if she didn't fully understand why. "No," she murmured. "He'll be here soon." "Who?" The man stepped closer. Too close. Clara flinched for the first time. "Nobody." "Then you won't mind if I sit?" He moved toward the bench. Clara shifted to the far edge, her breath sharp. Then, from across the street, a voice sliced through the night like a blade. "Clara!" Clara's head snapped up. Elena was running toward them, hair messy, hoodie half-zipped, breathless, terrified. The man froze. Elena didn't slow down. She sprinted across the grass, shoes slipping on frost, panic thundering through her chest. "Clara, come here! Now!" The man's expression changed. A flicker of annoyance. Then, calculation. Two girls were less ideal than one. He stepped back. Then further. Then vanished into the dark line of trees behind the park. Clara stared after him, expression blank, unreadable. Elena grabbed her shoulders. "Clara, what are you doing? Why did you leave the house? Who was he? Why didn't you?" Clara whispered, "He wasn't Adrian." Elena swallowed hard. "He could have hurt you." Clara blinked in confusion. Hurt? That concept had never entered her imagination tonight. "Elena?" Her voice wavered. "Adrian was supposed to be here. I waited. I followed everything. Destiny doesn't get delayed like this." Elena felt something inside her break. "Clara, listen to me." She tightened her grip, shaking. "You're not safe here. You can't wander around at night. You could have been kidnapped. Or worse." But she didn't say the word. Clara just stared through her, past her, as if the night had betrayed her, as if reality itself had insulted her devotion. "Elena," she whispered, eyes filling with something unsettling and fragile. "If destiny didn't bring him, it's because you interfered again." Elena's blood ran cold. "What? No, Clara, You took the map. You distract fate. You pull the threads out of place. You keep ruining what's meant to be. Elena saved you." Her voice cracked, raw, desperate. Clara shook her head, slow and eerie. "No, she prevented me." Her gaze sharpened in a way that made Elena step back. "If that man had hurt me, that would be your fault too." "Clara, stop. You're not thinking clearly." But Clara wasn't listening. She was withdrawing into herself, her shoulders curling inward, her grip on the notebook tightening until the spine bent. Finally, she whispered something so soft that the night almost swallowed the sound. "You keep getting in the way of destiny, and destiny will deal with you." Elena stared at her, heart pounding, hands shaking. For the first time, she wasn't afraid of Clara. She was afraid of... Elena brought Clara home in silence. Not because she had nothing to say, but because she no longer trusted how Clara would hear it. Every word now felt like a spark, and Clara was gasoline. They entered through the back door to avoid waking their mother. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Clara walked ahead, barefoot, hair tangled by the night wind, notebook clutched to her chest like a life source. Elina followed, her heartbeat trembling against her ribs. She watched Clara move, slow, detached, almost floating, like she wasn't fully in this world anymore, like she was walking through a dream only she understood. Clara stopped at her door, turned slightly. "Elena?" Her voice was calm. Too calm. "Don't ever take my things again." Then she shut the door. No anger, no shouting, just that one sentence. A warning disguised as a rule. Elena stood there long after Clara went inside, her hands shaking with the realization that something had shifted, subtly, quietly, dangerously. Clara was no longer just unstable, she was unpredictable. And unpredictability was terrifying. Their mother stood in the kitchen, rubbing a hand over her tired face. "Elena," she said, "I got another call from the school." Elena froze mid-step. What now? Her mother sighed. "She had an episode. They said she was angry at a classmate, shouting something about interference and fate." Her voice cracked. "They want her evaluated." Elena felt her pulse throb in her temples. Of course! Clara's breakdown at the park? The stranger? The obsession? It was bleeding into her days now. Their mother leaned on the counter, exhausted. Maybe it's just stress. Maybe she needs a break. Maybe we all do. Elena opened her mouth. She almost told her about the park, about the man, about the map. Almost. But she stopped. Because if Clara found out Elena had spoken, she didn't know what Clara would do. Her mother looked at her with pleading eyes. "Did something happen between you two?" Elena swallowed. Hard. "No, nothing." The lie tasted bitter, but the truth tasted worse. Clara at school. Clara sat in class, arms crossed tightly over her chest, eyes unfocused. Her teacher called her name twice, no response. Her pencil rolled off the desk. She didn't notice. Inside Clara's mind, the previous night replayed like broken film. The empty street, the wind, the bench, her whispered poem, and the wrong man stepping into her destiny. And then, Elena, always Elena, blocking, interfering, redirecting fate. A flicker of anger tightened Clara's jaw. "She keeps ruining everything," she whispered under her breath. The girl next to her glanced over. "Sorry, what?" Clara turned her head sharply. Her stare was so intense, the girl quickly looked away. Clara slowly pulled out her notebook, flipped to the page where she had written, "Adrian's routine, night routes." She crossed out one sentence, wrote a new one underneath. "Fate isn't the problem. People are." She underlined it twice. Her hand trembled with barely contained emotion. She whispered, "Destiny only fails when someone blocks the path." Elena walked home from school later than usual, not because she wanted to stay late, but because she couldn't bring herself to walk into the same house as Clara yet. She needed time to breathe, time to think. Time to understand how to stop a disaster that was already moving like a shadow behind them. As she turned onto their street, she saw Clara sitting on the front steps, staring straight ahead, like she'd been waiting. Elena's throat tightened. "Clara, what are you doing outside?" Clara didn't answer immediately. Then slowly, she looked up. "Elena." Her voice was soft, almost gentle. "I think you should know something." Elena's stomach dropped. "What?" Clara stood, stepped down one stair, one more, until she was eye level with Elena. Then she whispered, "I think Adrian knows I exist now." Elena's throat tightened. "Clara, what do you mean by that?" Clara smiled, a small, eerie, trembling smile. "He looked at me today." Elena's heart lurched. "Where?" "At school," Clara said calmly. "He walked past me. He didn't smile, he didn't talk, but he looked directly at me. Like he recognized something." Elena swallowed hard. "Clara, you can't assume." "It wasn't an assumption," Clara interrupted. "It was a sign." Her eyes glowed with a dangerous certainty. "Elena, fate is correcting itself." Elena shook her head. "Clara, please don't." But Clara kept talking, quietly, like someone confessing a sacred truth. And once fate starts correcting, nothing can stop it. Elena felt cold, because something in Clara's tone didn't sound like hope. It sounded like a warning, a promise, or a threat. The next day, Elena watched Clara with the same fear someone watches a lit match near gasoline. Clara wasn't talking much. She moved quietly, too quietly. Her mania wasn't loud today. It was focused, which was far more dangerous. Adrian walked down the west corridor, backpack slung over one shoulder, earbuds in, lost in his own world. He didn't realize Clara was standing near the bulletin board until he almost brushed past her. She wasn't looking at him. She was looking at his shadow. His shadow. Like the outline of him was more sacred than the boy himself. Adrian muttered a quick, polite, confused, "Sorry, excuse me." He stepped around her. Clara's breath hitched. She whispered, barely audible, "He spoke to me." Elena felt her phone buzz under the desk. She shouldn't check it during class. She checked it anyway. A message from a girl in another homeroom. "Your sister just cornered Adrian by the stairs. Should we call a teacher?" Elena's blood went cold. She stood up so fast her chair scraped loudly. Her teacher frowned. "Elena, something wrong?" Elena didn't. Adrian stood near the railing, looking uncomfortable but too polite to walk away. Clara stood close. Too close. Her voice gentle, trembling with devotion. "You looked at me yesterday." Adrian blinked. What?" "You recognized me," Clara whispered. "Fate made you see me. I felt it." Adrian adjusted his backpack, uneasy. I think you've mistaken me for someone else." Clara's smile wavered. Her fingers twitched around the spine of her notebook. "No," she said softly. "No, I haven't. I know your routine, your timing, your smile. I meant to understand you." Adrian's expression shifted from polite discomfort to genuine fear. Listen, that's not normal. You shouldn't be watching people like that. Claire's face fell, like he had cracked something fragile inside her. I'm not watching you. I'm following destiny. Adrian took a step back. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Clara stepped forward. Elena is trying to block us, she said urgently. You have to ignore her. She doesn't understand fate. She doesn't care about your path the way I do. Adrian stiffened. Your sister? He repeated. She said you needed space? Claire's eyes went wide. Huge. Unblinking. She said, what? Adrian swallowed. I mean, she said you're going through a lot. I don't want to make anything worse. Claire's breathing changed. Fast, sharp, unsteady. Elena is lying to you. She lies to everyone. She lies to fate. She stepped closer. Adrian stepped back. Okay, look, I think you should talk to someone. A counselor, a teacher. I'm not... You're not what? Clara whispered. Her eyes were glassy, her hands shaking. You're not mine yet? Is that it? Adrian's face drained of color. Clara, I need you to back up. Something in Clara snapped. Quietly. Soundlessly. But completely. You're scared. Because of her. Her fingers curled tightly around the spine of her notebook. Elena poisoned you against me. Elena arrived. Elena! Adrian's voice cracked in relief when he saw her sprinting toward them. Clara turned slowly. Her expression changed in an instant, from fragile heartbreak to raw hostility. Elena, she said softly, you shouldn't be here. Elena stepped between them without hesitation. Adrian, go! He didn't argue. He practically ran. Clara's jaw tightened. You chased him away. You did it again. Clara, please, Elena breathed. You can't talk to him like that. You scared him. Clara tilted her head. You scared him? Her voice was a monotone whisper. You're the danger, not me. Clara, you interfere with fate, she said. You twist it, bend it, break it. Her eyes were shimmering with something violent and unfiltered. You don't care that you keep ruining everything. Elena's breath trembled. I'm trying to protect you, she whispered. Clara's reply was soft, sharp, deadly. No, you're trying to erase me. Elena froze. What? Clara stepped closer. Stop, she whispered. Stop getting between us. Stop changing his path. Stop blocking destiny. Her voice dropped lower. If you try again, I will stop you myself. Elena stepped back, because this wasn't a threat made out of anger. It was a prophecy whispered by someone who believed fate was her weapon. Clara looked down at her notebook, then at the stair railing, then back at Elena. Her eyes were cold as winter glass. Elena, fate protects its chosen ones, and it punishes its enemies. Then she turned and walked away, leaving Elena shaking. because for the first time, Clara didn't sound obsessed. She sounded dangerous. Dangerous enough to do something irreversible. Dangerous enough to hurt herself. Dangerous enough to hurt someone else. Dangerous enough. Elena couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Clara's map. Highlighted streets, circled alleyways, notes written in Clara's perfect handwriting like a detective planning a crime. Except she wasn't a detective. She was the danger. Their mother had gone to bed early, exhausted from school's call. Clara was in her room, too quiet, too calm. Elena opened her door slightly. Clara sat on the floor, staring at her phone like she was watching a live countdown. "Elena," Clara said without lifting her eyes, "you should sleep. Tomorrow, important things will happen." Chills crawled down Elena's back. "What things?" she whispered. Clara finally looked up. Her eyes were blank, empty, fixed on something far away. "I'm done waiting for the universe," she said softly. "Now I'll adjust it myself." She stood up and placed something carefully in her backpack. A pair of gloves, a folded paper, a marker. Elena stepped forward. "Clara, what are you doing?" Clara smiled. A small, terrifying smile. "Destiny doesn't like delays, Elena, and you've delayed enough." She walked past her. But before leaving the room, she turned and whispered, "Don't follow me tonight." The door closed. Elena's heart hammered. Clara wasn't going for a walk. She was going for Adrian. And this time, Elena knew she wouldn't get a second chance. She grabbed her shoes, her phone, and ran after her sister into the cold night. This wasn't stalking anymore. This was the beginning of something irreversible, maybe even deadly. And Elena was the only one who could. Elena sprinted down the dim street, her breath sharp in the cold air. Ahead of her, Clara's silhouette moved fast, too fast, almost like she had been preparing for this night for months. Clara turned into Adrian's neighborhood. Elena froze. This wasn't obsession anymore. This was a mission. And Clara was seconds away from crossing a line she could never return from. "Clara!" Elena whispered loudly. Clara didn't even look back. She walked straight toward Adrian's house. The lights were on inside. His car was in the driveway. He was home. Elena's heart cracked. No, please no. Clara opened her backpack and pulled out the marker. She approached Adrian's window, and then she lifted her hand to write on the glass. Elena rushed forward and grabbed her wrist. "Stop!" Clara's eyes snapped to her, wild and shaking. "Elena, you shouldn't be here." "You are about to do something that would ruin everything," Elena cried. Clara jerked her arm free with surprising strength. "No, you ruined everything," Clara shouted, her voice breaking. "He was meant for me. The universe showed me signs, and you kept taking them away." Elena took a step closer, voice trembling. "Clara, this isn't destiny. This is hurting you. Please come home." For one small second, Clara softened. Then, a light turned on inside the house. Adrian walked toward the window. Clara's face twisted. "No, no, no, no. He can't see you here. He can't see you near him. He'll think you care about him." She lunged. Elena stumbled back as Clara pushed her toward the street. A car screeched. Headlights flashed. And Elena froze. Everything happened in one heartbeat. Clara shoved Elena out of the way. The car missed Elena, but Clara fell hard onto the ground. The driver slammed brakes. Neighbors came out. Lights turned on. Voices rose. Adrian rushed outside, shocked. Is she okay? Elena dropped to her knees beside her sister. Clara was conscious, but shaking, breathing fast, eyes unfocused. Elena, I didn't want them to take you. You're the only person I ever had. Elena's tears spilled. Why did you do all this? Clara looked up at the sky like she was waiting for an answer. The signs. They said he was my future. But maybe the signs were wrong. Police arrived. Paramedics lifted Clara carefully. She didn't fight. For the first time in years, she didn't fight anything. As they closed the ambulance doors, Clara whispered, Elena, I think I need help. It broke Elena's heart. Because it was true. Clara was taken for treatment. Adrian never learned the full story. And Elena finally slept for the first time in weeks. Because the danger was gone. But the scars would never leave. Destiny didn't collapse that night. Clara did. If stories like this pull you in, if you love dark twists, real emotions, and endings that stay with you, then don't leave just yet. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and join me for the next story, because the one coming next is even deeper, darker, and impossible.